at her first year celebration, only holding her dad's hand tight. He viewed her as his prized jewel. Her older brothers knew that life wouldn't be easy after this.
The little sister knew to cling to dad for support. Growing up, the girl excelled through her intelligence and strength. She successfully started her own company.
She named it Choices of the World. Her journey has been smooth sailing. It's not that her luck was great. Even when she accidentally got linked to a star scandal,
She calmly focused on maximizing her benefits.
while all were finding ways to fix the mess, she insisted not to blur her earrings. After all, these earrings were the company's latest promotion. Essentially, she wanted to use this woman for product exposure. Her two brothers had married and made families, but the brothers tried to impress father. Or the younger bros issued sinking stocks.
And now she was called back by dad.
The daughter got straight to the point.
A simple line made her family tear up.
Let her take his place.
The daughter never expected.
Her dad would pass the company to her. The reason is she can run it well. She never thought her life would take off so astonishingly. She chose to treat herself this time, to try her favorite paragliding sport, and would change her life drastically. The photographer filmed her paragliding throughout. Suddenly, a strong wind blew. She was still in awe. The heavens had truly favored her. She noticed a tractor flying through the air. Then the sky gradually darkened.
A tornado rushed in from nearby.
It flung the photographer higher, but she was pulled into the tornado by a mysterious force. But they couldn't find her at all. Unbeknownst to them, she was hanging on a branch, gazing at the view ahead. So she grabbed the walkie-talkie to call her assistant, but she got no response at all. She glanced down again.
Oh my gosh,
She jumped and cried for help.
a patrolling soldier suddenly heard a woman's voice.
This is a border, no one should be here. He crept closer to the sound. Suddenly, he aimed his gun at her, and Shirley looked at him with excitement. She thought her father sent the army. He came to find her, but the badge he wore made her a little scared. He slowly approached her. He urged her to hurry down. But it's just too high here, and I'm too weak to do it. Hearing a bullet load, she said she'd come down soon. She fell squarely into the man's arms.
Shirley thought she was safe now.
She said she'd keep his secret. She wouldn't out him as a spy. But he sadly replied, "You're the spy, aren't you?" "Why? This is North Korea."
She looked incredulous.
She was told this is the deal of embassy.
Upon hearing they would take her for questioning,
She got scared. It's just the border, right? I can just cross it. She knew once in their country, she might not come back.
she turned to leave, but he stopped her. It's a minefield. But as he stepped forward, he accidentally stepped on a mine.
Are you okay? The woman gestured for him to turn. He was about to pull out his radio, but dropped it in the river. Luckily, his foot stayed put. Seeing this, she picked up the radio.
He wanted to thank her.
Am I just waiting for your partner to catch me?
He warned her about a wood mine near her feet.
She needed to reach the shore. She saw he wasn't so bad. In 20 minutes, with the current, I'm also trying to buy time to escape. You get it. In the end, I watched the man remain still. It was heartfelt from Shirley. You look exactly like my type. If the two nations unite, we could meet again in a different way. Are you joking at a time like this? As soon as Shirley left, his friend came looking. Shirley motioned him to hush, but the man ignored her. Shirley knew it was over and had no time to think. But soon, the soldiers chasing them stopped because ahead lay a heavily mined area. To catch her quickly,
The soldier skirted the mines.
the two soldiers panicked. That's not your country. Hurry back. But you couldn't tell what they were doing. In haste, the soldier drew his gun to frighten her. Their negligence has dire results.
At this moment, she sighed in relief.
She finally left North Korea for home.
But do border folks sleep so early?
Yet strangely, she could still hear some people talking. And the announcement said the exercise was starting soon. This ancient custom is nothing like that of South Korea. She realized she was still in North Korea. Suddenly, a military truck approached. And it was the soldier from earlier. Her mind was racing. In this unfamiliar place, the only one she could trust was right in front of her. So she began to act her part. Isn't it strange how we met? To meet again here. What luck to see you. Truly a blessing in disguise. Meanwhile, the man was contemplating. Should he arrest her now or deal with her here?
In this awkward atmosphere, she asked if there was anything to eat.
Soon, he took her back to his home. She never thought she would end up like this one day. But when he prepared food for her, her true self showed over time. She said hosting takes priority in meals. While the man could see through her thoughts, she was still explaining it was the etiquette of their great Korea. But she was oblivious to how the man's expression grew more grim. Yet she had turned herself into a rural woman. She poured water into a bucket, then secured the tent. A basic shower was ready to go. She calmed herself. This is a simple steam room. was already a blessing she had earned in her past life. The woman began to panic, knowing she had never encountered a blackout in her 20 years. A glaring flashlight made the woman extremely frightened, with the doorknob turning, only to see it was the owner returning. At that moment, she asked why he was back. The man thought, where could I go but here? After hearing the news of the missing heiress, her family was all excited. Missing under 48 hours, her two brothers can't wait any longer. Is the survival chance 0? The officer said to wait 48 hours to confirm, but they felt like waiting centuries. Her rich dad planned to hand over the firm yesterday. But the man sheltering her is worried too. The border guards will suffer because of this. In 2 days, a ship will depart. This is the chance to return to South Korea. Shirley excitedly promised to repay him. One day, while Young-hyuk was out on business, he said he'd do a special check. Young-hyuk felt uneasy after hearing the news. Then, a speeding car zoomed down the road. When the officer saw the speeding car, he quickly told all cars to move aside. In no time, the lane was clear. Young-hyuk pressed the gas even harder. Even the next station's officer changed the traffic lights for this car. As they went through the gate, upon seeing the license plate, the soldier perked up. This is a car driven by a high-ranking official. They say blocking 729 can bring trouble. Then your life will come to a halt. At this moment, the major reached the village. Upon hearing they're checking Young-hyuk's place. Why are the lights on at home? Shirley, unaware, was browsing through something at home. Suddenly outside, a notice came for dorm checks. What age is it that dorms still get checked? See nobody answering the door. The major motioned for his men to break in. Upon entering the room, no one was found. But in the cellar, they found a figure hiding. Soon Shirley was brought out like a prisoner.
Shirley was too scared to say anything.
The major said not to worry, they'd know through questioning. The villagers were astonished as Young-hyuk got out and walked to Shirley. But unexpectedly, the major aimed his gun at her head. He just wanted to tell the armed major. In front of him was his fiancée. They had only known each other for a few days. When asked to show his set, Young-hyuk earnestly lied, saying he was with intel. So his bid to tales were secret. It couldn't be shown freely. He finally tricked the major away. Shirley started to worry. What would happen if the fiancé was discovered? The man reassured her, you can leave here tomorrow night.
Shirley was secretly happy about going home tomorrow.
Suddenly she heard a group of women outside discussing. Comrade Young-hyuk doesn't seem to like her at all. The man looked guilty.
And Shirley indeed turned the blame towards Young-hyuk.
Young-hyuk had an innocent look.
Then she pretended to dust off his clothes.
Shirley whispered for him to cooperate quietly because the ants were watching them. She even wanted Young-hyuk to touch her hair now.
He could only follow her request to touch.
Shirley wore a shy expression.
The older ladies watching had goosebumps.
But he heard Shirley prompting him to wave goodbye again. He thought women are hard to handle. She was thinking hard to succeed. Fortunately, she would be sent off tonight. They didn't know a mystery was near. Had installed listening devices near their home.
Every word they spoke
was heard clearly by the eavesdropper.
However, these devices made Shirley's return home quite bumpy. Before leaving,
Shirley made a list to thank everyone for their help. After reunification,
they could exchange their current rewards after everyone received their rewards.
Only Young-hyuk hadn't, so the last ceremony wrapped up. Young-hyuk was too mad to speak. And this gift nearly drove her crazy. It was a tomato seedling. Gazing at the tomato she laughed would make his garden feel less lonely.
After all, she traded half a bag of potatoes for it.
Young-hyuk seriously suspected if Shirley's brain had been kicked by a donkey. The eavesdropper listens in, also thinks that this woman is indeed a bit off.
The two arrived at the agreed dock as planned, gave the crew a little